Well, I think it's all a little bit premature to say that. The reason I say that is because there is an existing Congress, and that continues until the presidential inauguration. There's that what they call the lame duck session, and there's still, I've made the remark historically, and there's still a chance that the TPP will go through. So we'll have to wait and see. I just don't want to call it too soon.
The markets seem to be pricing in a Clinton victory. There is always the risk, I guess, of another Brexit-type result.
Well, I mean, look, we've got to wait and see what the United States people decide. Obviously, we'll respect whatever decision the US constituency make, and Australia has been a long, loyal friend of the United States, and they've been a long, loyal friend to us too. We share a lot of values, we share a lot of interests, so I've no doubt that irrespective of whoever wins, the Australian government and the new US administration will be able to work to pursue the national interests of both Australia and the United States.
Back home, and well, it looks like we have believe it or not, for many viewers, I think, a much more cooperative parliament at the moment than anything we see in the United States in terms of cross-partisanship divide with the superannuation compromise, for example. Labor's putting forward. Now, they've put forward their cuts. At the end of the day, they will back the government's plan, but at least there's some cooperation in this place in terms of savings.
Well, look, I welcome the fact that the Labor Party is recognising that we've got a mandate for the reform that we've taken forward. I mean, Labor wants to go another step beyond that. They want to tax even more. They want to, cruel people's ability to save for their own retirement even further. We think that goes too far, but we've certainly put in place reasonable, considered, measured changes to superannuation. We've got a mandate for that. They're responsible because they also make sure that we continue on our pathway of getting our budget under control.
In terms of the gay marriage plebiscite, we've seen the result overnight, voted down in the Senate. What's the plan B for the government?
Well, Kieran, I mean, we made it very clear. We made it very clear. Before the election, we said we were going to take this policy to the people. We did. We said if you elect us, we will have a plebiscite. We've tried to do that now. Unfortunately, the Labor Party and the Greens and one or two others have acted against the fact that we have a mandate for a plebiscite. I mean, let's be clear about this, Kieran. On February the 11th next year, we're talking only 3 months or so from now. In February next year, we could have had this done and dusted. It could be over. We wouldn't have had a prolonged debate. It'd be 3 months from now. The issue would be resolved, finalised, done, complete. Instead, the Labor Party and the Greens, by purely only interested in playing politics, let's not pretend for 1 second it's anything other than politics.
But Bill Shorten and Penny Wong, they argue it's about protecting those in same-sex relationships.
That is a completely illogical argument for 2 reasons. The first reason is, if it's really about making sure that the debate is not prolonged, and if it's really about making sure that there isn't harm on the community, which is what the Labor Party claims, well, why would you not deal with it in 3 months? Why keep it going for years? That's the first issue. The second issue is that that's a really arrogant argument, because what it basically is the Labor Party looking down their nose to the Australian population saying, you're too immature to have a conversation, a cool, calm, collected, rational conversation, even though actually we've just been having one for the last 6 months. We actually need to take this away from you, the Australian people, because we can't trust you to debate this. I mean, it's a really arrogant position.
I want to ask you about, in a moment, your talks with your Indonesian counterpart, because you've made some progress on that front. But finally, just on political matters within the coalition, the 18C discussion has been reignited again this week. What's your view? Has any of this gone to Cabinet for discussion as well? The Prime Minister talking about a possible inquiry into it?
Well, you'll forgive me for not disclosing what we've discussed at Cabinet, but look, I think, Kieran, what it comes down to is this. A lot of people are very frustrated with Gillian Triggs. They're frustrated because there appears to be a lot of someone would say deceptive conduct on her part. We've seen, unfortunately, some track record with respect to quotes in the Saturday paper, comments made before Senate inquiries, and now we actually have another situation where only yesterday she made remarks that said that they were obliged, as the Human Rights Commission were obliged to investigate this and couldn't be dismissive of a false and vexatious claim. Well, that's just wrong. Under the Act, they can. And the simple fact is that this need never have happened. And so I think that's why there's a lot of people who are very frustrated with Gillian Triggs, because there seems to be, and a lot of them will put this forward, a pattern of deceptiveness about the way in which they're going about conducting themselves. And that's the real
So it's not so much about the law, it's about the Human Rights Commission.
Well, it's
itself.
two things. I mean, you've got Gillian Triggs, who makes comments like she did yesterday, claiming that there's no way that the HRC, the Human Rights Commission, could have turned this away. That's clearly wrong. I mean, they have that power under Section 20 of the Act. That's one issue. The second issue gets to whether or not, one of the pillars of Western democracy is about free speech. Whether or not insulting or offensive comments are something that should be
For 20
a
years
matter
it's
at
worked
law.
fine.
Well, this is what we've got to be looking at.